Today is Saturday, October 14th. It's an interesting morning today for kind of multiple reasons. One is that I find myself at a very unusual place for me, which is a full service RV park with all the hookups, all those expensive motorhomes and fifth wheels, and my little van is right here. Question is why I'm at a full service RV campground. So for the past first of all, this campground is in San Antonio, Texas, and for the past I've actually stayed here for the past 2 days. The past 2 days the weather was just the typical summer Texas weather, like 90s, low 90s to mid 90s, almost 100% humidity, kind of miserable. But today the weather actually turned quite dramatically overnight. So from low 90s it went down to low 70s, even to upper 60s in the morning, and the humidity dropped from like 70 to 80% down to 30%. So it's quite comfortable. So the question is, why San Antonio and this particular park? The San Antonio, I haven't been to San Antonio ever, so I've heard that it's an interesting place to visit, a historic downtown, and there is the river walk. So I wanted to check all of this out. And this campground is actually located very conveniently. It is, by the way, is on the river walk. Initially I thought that the river walk is just that pedestrian kind of a center with all the restaurant rows in downtown San Antonio, but that's not all of it. The majority of it is actually a bike path, or like a multi-use path, which goes on both sides of the river all the way for like dozens of miles. And this RV park is actually is located right on the river walk. It is about, on that bike trail, it's about 5 miles to downtown San Antonio if you go one direction, and if you go the other direction, south, about 4 miles. And by the way, all along this river walk there are those historic Spanish missions, which are they're considered World Heritage Site, and it's part of the National Park Service. So in this campground, I've actually, on Thursday, biked to 3 or 4 of them, and on Friday I've biked to the last one. So staying in this campground, I managed to visit all of the missions, which was very interesting. And also another thing about this campground is it is on the bus line, like a city bus line, which takes directly to downtown, which I kind of did. I went out in town last night, kind of had some margaritas, and like walked around the river walk. It was like very lively. Of course, it was a Friday night, so everybody was out and about. So it was just, not exactly my cup of tea, but once in a while, since it's a new town, so I decided to go and check it out. So that's the kind of whole story about San Antonio. I could have come here any other time, but this particular time is very unusual, not just for me, but also all the people around me, because today is supposed to be, it's gonna happen, right? It's gonna, this very rare celestial event, the annular solar eclipse, supposed to happen in about 3 to 4 hours. And the hope here is that all the clouds will be gone by then. I'll be able to see it in its full glory. The eclipse is called the annular eclipse. It doesn't mean that it happens every year. There are kind of 3 types of eclipses. One is partial, where the moon covers partially the sun. The total, when the moon covers it completely. And the annular, when the moon goes all across the surface of the sun, but because it's too far from Earth, so it doesn't cover it completely, and it's supposed to be what they call the ring of fire. There's like a black disk of moon surrounded by the ring of fire from the sun rays, and they say that's even more rare than the total solar eclipse. So traveling in this part of, I mean, actually the best place for me to view it would have been that most beautiful campsite that I stayed at up on a mesa in Utah. It was supposed to go right over that mesa, just right on top of it. But since I left it already, so I've decided to stick around in San Antonio for a couple. I was actually on my way to Houston, and in Houston, I mean, it's not going to be fully visible. So it's just, I mean, it's that rare. The path is quite narrow, so there's just very few. I mean, maybe like 100 miles wide, and Houston is 200 miles away. So it's not going to happen in Houston. So I decided to stay in San Antonio for a couple days, and because it was hot, I booked myself into this full-service RV campground so I could run my air conditioning. So the hope today really is that this, they say, one of the rarest celestial events is going to happen, and I should be able to witness it. And by the way, the eclipse solar glasses, I mean, obviously you have to have the eclipse viewing glasses or goggles to be able to view it. And I just happened to buy them when I was passing through New Mexico. I stopped in some random national monument site where they were also supposed to have the, I mean, eclipse was also supposed to happen, and I've asked them if they have any goggles on sale, and they did. So I just bought myself a pair for a couple bucks. So I'm hoping to fully utilize them today. I mean, I hope it will happen. I hope these clouds will be gone. I've decided to view the eclipse from a National Park Service site. This is part of the San Antonio Mission's National Historic Park and the Mission San Jose, and there's supposed to be a huge eclipse viewing party here. I mean, they're already getting set up. I mean, they're doing like some traffic management here, and over there in that booth right now it's 9, so at 10 they're supposed to be giving away free eclipse glasses while supplies last. I already have a pair, but I may actually get another one just in case, because that's a kind of, so it's, I mean, this eclipse viewing is not a, it's some of the dangerous things. I mean, it's really dangerous to view without goggles, but even with goggles, I mean, you have to be super careful. So they're also giving some instructions how to properly view it. In the meantime, I still have maybe 2.5 hours until it starts. In the meantime, I'm gonna go and explore the mission itself, because and on Thursday I've actually biked all, I mean, kind of by all of the missions, but this one I kind of somehow I missed it, and now I'm and it was closed when I actually found it. Yeah, I'm going to be watching the solar eclipse from the National Historic Park, San Antonio Missions. The National Park Service organized a huge eclipse viewing party. They set up telescopes, they're giving away free eclipse glasses, there are like ranger talks, astronomer talks. It's very interesting and educational. The clouds don't help much, but I think with the clouds you could actually make out the crescent of the sun through the clouds. The clouds, of course, are not helping to watch the whole thing live, but somehow through the clouds I could actually photograph. That's interesting. This partly cloudy day turned out to be actually an extra bonus, because whenever the sun shines through the clouds, I could see the ring of fire. And whenever the sun covers, I mean the clouds cover the sun, I could actually take pictures of the eclipse through the veil of clouds.